Welcome back. I'm Ezra Levant. There is a new threat to North American cities, and from perhaps an unlikely source, the toboggan. Several American and Canadian cities have banned tobogganing in city parks. And if you're found sledding, be ready for a hefty fine. Joining me now with more is Sun News contributor David Menzies. David, this is so bizarre. Why on earth would we ban tobogganing in the Great White North?
Well, Ezra, think of the children, right? And at least that's what the lawyers are saying. And by the way, it would be wrong for people to blame the lawyers for this. Lawyers, that by their nature is to go to the people in charge and say, you know what, if somebody slips and falls and has a bad injury, the municipality, can be on the hook for it. Once upon a time, Ezra, cities, the people in charge of the cities, they would say to the lawyer, yeah, we've assessed the risk situation. We're going to let it go. We're going to roll the dice. And now we have basically gutless people in charge that go, well, if the lawyer says that. I mean, Ezra, back in, I think it was around the year 2000, Gail Nyberg, who was with the Toronto District School Board, there were some pieces of playground equipment that were a little, on the shoddy side. And the result was, after getting a legal opinion, demolish every playground.
All of them.
Yes.
I mean, I understand, okay, we got to fix this one, or maybe put up a sign, play at your own risk in red lights. But they took out every single playground.
That's right.
And come on, which is more dangerous? Having a playground that someone could bump themselves, or no playground so the kids say, well, maybe we'll play in the street?
Oh, yeah. And what about teaching children, instead of putting them in a dome for their protection, teach them to do some risk management analysis. Look at a hill, and maybe if it's going on to traffic or into a river, you know what? That's not a good idea for a toboggan hill, but this one over here is. And Ezra, I can tell you this. I think it was the winter of 1980. My good friend Chris and I, we went to the Rosedale Golf Course, tobogganing there. A lot of people were tobogganing. We purposely went off this insane jump ramp. I ended up with several bruised ribs. Poor Chris had a broken collarbone. When we came home and we got heck from our folks, never once, Ezra, in the conversation did it go, who are we going to sue? How does Daddy get a new Cadillac out of this? It wasn't we made a stupid decision. It was bad on us. Life goes on. But I guess it's not like that anymore.
Yeah, and the thing is, I remember the playground case. There actually hadn't been a gross injury that spurred all this. This was just lawyers and their risk management. And the approach was, well, we prefer lawyers over kids. Here's the thing. If you say no to tobogganing in city parks, what you're saying is you're diverting those kids to less safe places. And you're saying, well, you can go somewhere else if we ban it there. It is actually riskier. And like you say, part of growing up is learning that when you fall, how to pick yourself back up. Like you say, risk management, risk assessment, even for kids. Don't touch that. Don't kick that.
Exactly. You raise a great point there, Ezra. And also, when it comes to the mixed messages here, we have participation campaigns because evidently we as a society, especially the younger generations, we're getting fatter earlier. And a lot of it is junk food, sitting on a couch playing Xbox. So we want kids to go outside. We want them to adopt sports. So now you're saying, well, go outside, have some fun. Oh, but you know what? Can't do this. You can't, can't skate on a frozen pond. Can't go tobogganing on a hill. And like you said, show me the data that says that this is a culture of carnage in tobogganing. There are accidents, there are tragedies from time to time, but somebody could slip on an icy sidewalk too, Ezra.
Yeah, exactly. Let me show a quick list. The National Post, an interesting story. They listed cities across America where these bans or restrictions are coming into place. And as you pointed out just before the show started, a lot of these are, in the Midwest, places where in our mind, the stereotypical, bracing young guys and hearty young girls go out and play in the winter. This is basically saying we're no longer sturdy people. We're too dainty to play outside. Go inside and sit in front of the TV.
Yeah, you're right. And Columbia City, Indiana, I've never been there, Ezra, but really, what the hell else do you do in Columbia City, Indiana, if you're a kid and there's snow on the ground? And like I said, it's just being afraid of the prospect of some kind of injury happening, and that warrants an all-out ban, because there's a legal opinion that's saying maybe, perhaps, could be, this will happen. It's shameful and it's cowardice.
Yeah. You know what? I wasn't a kid that long ago, and I suppose all these rules have made us safer, but for some reason we all managed to survive childhood in the 70s and the 80s before this mania caught on. I mean, I don't deny there were some injuries, but this is overkill. This is lawyers running the country. Last word to you, David.
Yeah, no, again, it's the litigious nature of some, Ezra, that I think is ruining it for all. I mean, we have to have tort reform. That's, I think, the first step. But the second step is so that I mean, there was a playground in the U.S., it was Massachusetts, I remember reading about a couple of years ago, Ezra. They no tag, no touch football, no running, no skipping, no jumping. So a kid,
hopefully no laughing, because you know that could lead to laugh lines.
Well, it's funny, that kid was asked, what do you do at recess? And they said, we walk and talk. Like a prison yard. We just go around and around walking and talking. Is this the generation we're raising, Ezra?
Absolutely. David, great to see you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Ezra.